Okay, so here is homework section 3.5 on factoring, and here's number 8. All basically I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this and say the directions say to factor each completely. So of course that means that I need to do reverse multiplying, and I also need to make sure that all the greatest common factors have been pulled out of every single term, which makes every single term relatively prime. So I'm going to check those things as I go. The first thing that I should do is check and see if I have a GCF. Okay, if I do, I should pull it out, and it sure looks like I do, which will be nice because it'll make some of these really big numbers become smaller. So if I look at 45, 190, and 40, they have a 5 in common. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull a 5 out, and I end up with 9x squared minus 38x plus 8. Okay, and of course 9 has 1, 3, and 9, and the only one that 8 has is a 1 that it shares with the 9. So I know that 9, 38, and 8 have to be relatively prime to each other, so I can't pull anything else out. Standard form, SF, yes, it is in that form, so I can go ahead and start solving this. I'm going to leave this 5 on the outside. He's just going to hang out until my final answer. My first step that I need to do is I need to do A times C. Well, A is 9, C is 8, so positive times positive, it gives me a positive 72. I need to find factors of 72 that add up to be a negative 38. Well, I mean, I can start listing them out. 1, 72. If I divide by 2, I get 36. And I can keep, 38. I can keep going until I find a ton of factors, but right here, if I actually change this 2 and this 36 to be negative, that becomes a positive 72 when multiplied together, and a negative 38 when they're added together. So I'm going to go ahead and go with those. So that was step number 2. Step number 3 is to rewrite it, blowing up the b term, splitting up the middle term. So I end up with 9x squared, and it doesn't matter the order I put them in. I'm going to go ahead and let's just put the 36x first, because you might have been inclined to put the negative 2x first. It doesn't matter. I should get the exact same answer for the final step. Okay, my next thing that I need to do is my factor by grouping. So that's step number 4. And if I look at 9 and 36, let's see, they should have a 9 in common, I believe. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull a 9 out. And they also have an x in common, so that leaves me with x minus 4 inside. Okay, and then this guy over here, I know it has to be a negative because the third term is negative, and I know that I need x minus 4 inside, so that means I have to pull out a 2. So let's see, it will be an x, and then I have to change the sign, minus 4. If I redistribute that negative 2, I'll get the negative 2x plus an 8, so I'm good to go. My leftovers are relatively prime, and they match. And if I look here as I rewrite, 9x minus 2, my greatest common factors are relatively prime. They have nothing in common besides a 1. And the only thing I need to do is I need to remember to bring this 5 down and stick him on the outside. Because if I don't bring him down, the 2 purple factors there in step number 5 don't multiply together to give me this answer that I originally started with. So I need the 5 on the outside to then say all of this, when put back together, re-multiplied, ends up giving me this guy back if I were to check my answer. And remember that on your homework you need to check 2 of your answers and make sure that they really are true. So I encourage you to do that first before you try to solve all of your problems.